Good morning to all everyone. Today we will start with Universal Serial Bus. In short, it is called as USB. Universal Serial Bus is a wired high-speed serial bus for data communication. So you have already seen you have laptop, so you will be knowing what is an USB cable. So what we have to see what what it contains in detail here. The first version of USB, that is 1.0, was released in 1995. The USB communication system allows a star topology with USB as a host at the center and one or more USB peripheral device or the USB host connected to it. Okay, there will be one host and then there will be number of other one or more USB peripherals devices or USB host connected to it. Fine. So the USB host can support the connection up to 127, including the slave peripheral device and other USB host. So they can support so many connections to the USB cable. Okay, figure illustrate the star topology for USB device connection. So you can see here you have a one USB host here which is called a hub, and then you have number of peripheral devices connected, and you can also connect one USB host to another USB host, and for that again there are number of peripheral devices. This is how USB cable can be connected. Fine. So there is one USB host, a number of peripherals, or one USB host is connected to another USB host which has number of again sub peripherals. So this is how the USB topology works. USB transmit the data in the packet format. Each data packet has a standard format. Okay, so the USB communication is a host initiated one. The USB host contains a host controller in it, which is responsible for controlling the data communication, including the connection and enabling the connectivity with the USB slave devices, packetizing and formatting the data. See, these all functions are done by one controller called the USB controller, which is inside the USB host, which is responsible for making the connection. So what all it will do? It will do the data communication. It has to start the data communication, and then after starting it has to do the packetizing, that is converting the data in terms of the packets, and then the formatting the data. Okay, so this is what is done by the USB host, which is there is a controller in that. There are different standards for implementing this USB host control interface. One is called open host control interface and universal host control interface. Okay, and the connection between the USB peripheral device and the master device is established using a USB cable. There has to be one. You have seen the USB cable pins. One is the thick one, that is like a rectangle shape, and another one is a small one, right? So you have seen a USB cable. So one will be acting like a host and one will be receiving like a slave device. So connection between the USB peripheral device and the master device is established using the USB cable. This USB cable supports the communication distance up to 5 meters. So 5 meters distance can be communicated using this USB cable, and the USB standard uses two different types of connector. So as I said earlier, at the ends of the USB cable for connecting the USB peripheral device and the host device. Type A connector is used for upstream connection, that is connection with the host. Type A connector is nothing but that rectangle one which you connected to your PC, right? So that is called as type A connector. Okay, this is used for the upstream connection, that is connection from the host, and type B connector is used for downstream connection, that is from the slave devices. Fine. So the USB connector present in the desktop, PC, laptops are example of type A USB connector. Fine. So these are the two types of connector at the end of the cable. Both type A and type B connectors contain 4 pins. Okay, what are these 4 pins are responsible? First pin number 1 is responsible for the carrier power. So as you have seen, whenever we connect an USB cable to your suppose you want to transfer any data from your mobile to the laptop or the desktop, through this USB cable. Okay, so when you connect the USB cable from your mobile to the PC, then you can see that it will charge. Okay, the mobile will charge. Why the mobile will charge? Because it has a pin which carries the voltage of 5 volt. Okay, so that is the carries the power of 5 volt. Second number, pin number 2 is a differential carrier line, which is D minus, and D plus is a differential again data carrier line. So any negative values will be taken on D minus line, any positive value will be taken on D plus line. So it is having a signed numbers, fine, and then it will have a ground. So there are 4 pins for each type A and type B connector. Okay, so that is one for the power, one for the ground, one for the D minus, one for D plus. So this is how the USB pins are have the functions. Fine, so this is what the different connector is. So you already must be knowing there is a type A connector, that which you connect to your PC, type B connector which you connect to your for your mobiles, and type C connector. Nowadays there is type C connector which has a wider one. Okay, so there are 3 types: type A, type B and type C. The USB uses a differential signals for data transmission. It improves the noise immunity. So the USB uses differential signals for the data transmission. That's what I said, you D minus and D plus. It improves the noise immunity. USB interface has the ability to supply power to the connecting devices. As I said earlier, it has the ability to supply the power to the connecting devices. 2 connection lines, ground and the power of the USB devices, are dedicated to carrying the power. Okay, it can supply the power up to 500 milliampere at 5 volt. Okay, it is sufficient to operate the low power devices. Fine. So mini and micro USB connectors are available for small form of factor devices like portable media players. Okay, for them USB connectors are available in the small format. Each USB device contains a product ID and a vendor ID. Whatever USB device you are connecting, it has its own user product ID and the vendor ID. So embedded into the USB chip by the USB device manufacturer. Fine. So the VID for a device is supplied by the USB standard form, and PID, VID are essential for loading the drivers corresponding to the USB device for communication. So any device you want to connect to your PC or the desktop, all of them has the the USB chip has given with VID, and the manufacturer also will give you the product ID. So these two are important for loading the drivers on the desktop or the PC. So only when you put the driver or download the driver for the USB in your whatever, like in your laptop or the PC, then only we can connect the particular device to the computer. Now for example, if you have to use any kit, okay, any kit, any microcontroller kit like your Arduino, Raspberry Pi, or maybe the Texas Instrument kits, we have to load the driver of those kits for the USB cable. Then only those connection or those devices can be connected to your PC. Okay, so those all are given with PID and VID, product ID and vendor ID. USB supports 4 different types of data transfer, that is control transfer, bulk transfer, isochronous transfer and the interrupt transfer. Now let us see what is this control transfer. Used by the USB system software to query, configure, issue commands to the USB device. For such control transfer is nothing but it is used by these like when you're downloading the driver software, or when you are running the driver software, in that case the control transfer is used. Okay, used by the system software query to configure and issue the commands to the USB device. What is a bulk transfer? Used for sending the block of data to the device, supports error checking and the correction. Transferring the data to the printer is an example of the bulk transfer. So bulk transfer is nothing but it is sent in bulk. Okay. Isochronous data transfer used for real-time data communication. This type of transfer, okay, data is transmitted as a stream in real time, doesn't support error checking and retransmission of data in case of any error. Fine. All the streaming devices like audio devices, medical equipment for data collection make use of isochronous data transfer. Fine. Interrupt transfer used for transferring the small amount of data. Interrupt transfer mechanism makes use of polling technology. Polling means continuously monitoring the device for which this USB cable is connected to see whether the USB device has any data to send. Continuously it will be polling. Fine. So the frequency of polling is determined by the USB device and it varies from 1 to 255 milliseconds. So every 1 millisecond we can continuously poll the devices which are connected through this USB cable. Devices like mouse, keyboard, which transmit fewer amounts of data, uses a interrupt transfer. So you have seen the different mouses and you can see the keyboards which have the USB cable type connected to the computer or the desktop, to the computer or the laptop. So they will work on the concept of interrupt transfer. So whenever it will be continuously polling, and then it will take the value only after it interrupts. Fine. So this is how there are four types of transfers in USB device. One is the control transfer, bulk transfer, interrupt transfer, and the isochronous data transfer. So I hope you understood what are these four types of data transfer in USB cable. So there are different standards of USB. So USB ORG is a standards body for defining and controlling the standards for USB communication. So there are many USB cables of types or standards which will supports many data rates, different data rates. For example, for low speed we use USB 1.0 having 1.5 megabits per second, and then you have full speed 12 megabits per second. So it is USB 1.0 again. Then high speed, for that 480 megabits per second you will use USB 2.0, 3.0, then we have 3.1, and then for 20 gigabits per second we have USB 3.2. So there are different standards of the USB for data transfer, for supporting the different data transfer, like bits per second. Fine. So this completes the USB. Then let us see what is a FireWire or IEEE 1394. IEEE 1394 is a wired isochronous high-speed serial communication bus. Usually this bus is used for real-time applications. Okay, so it's a wired. Fine. It is also known as high-performance serial bus. The research on 1994 was started by Apple in 1985, and the standard for this was coined by IEEE. The implementation of 1394 is available from various players with different names. So that can be a FireWire, iLink, and Links. Okay, so there are different companies which the same protocol or same communication interface is designed by different companies with the name FireWire, iLink, and Links. So from Apple, Sony, and Texas Instruments. So this is a single wire, it's a wired, it is used for high speed communication. Fine. Then I-1394 supports peer-to-peer communication and point-to multi-point communication, allowing 63 devices to be connected on the bus in a tree topology. Fine. So it's a wired serial interface. It can support a cable length of 15 feet. So it's very huge. Okay, 15 feet for the interconnection. The 1394 standard supports a data rate of 400 to 300 megabits per second. The IEEE 1394 uses a differential data transfer. It increases the noise community. This also uses a differential data transfer, and so obviously it will reduce the noise immunity. The interface cable supports three types of connectors, namely 4-pin connector, 6-pin connector, and 9-pin connector. So there are three types of connectors here depending on the device: 4-pin, 6-pin, and 9-pin. They are called alpha and beta connector. The 6 and 9-pin connectors carry power also to support the external device. Like USB, this also carries a power to support the external device, but it can supply unregulated power in the range of 24 to 30 volts. So it is very large compared to the USB cable. They will transfer only 5 volt. Here it transfers the 24 volt to 30 volt of voltage power. Okay. So this is how the 1394 IEEE diagram connectors look. So this is 4 pin and 6 pin connector, and this is a 9 pin connector. So this is how they look. They will be around 15 feet long for the connection. They need 63. They can connect 63 devices in a tree topology fashion, and then it can transfer the data from 400 to 3200 megabits per second. So this is very important communication interface for the real-time application. The table given below illustrates the pin details of the 4, 6 and 9 pin connectors. So you can see here for 4 pin connector there is no power. Okay, but 6 pin and 9 pin has the power here. So it is 4 pin has the numbers TPB, that is differential signal line for line B, then differential signal line for signal line B, differential signal line for A, and so they can send 2 data at a time. So A and B, it has plus and minus sign again, and similarly A also has plus and minus sign. So differential signal for the 2 lines, that is A and B. Then pin 6 has the power ground along with all the 4 lines, that is TPB plus, minus, and TPA plus and minus. That is for pin 6. 6 pin connector. And for 9 pin connector, there are other 2 pins are TPAS and TPBS. What is the meaning of this? Shield for the differential signal line A normally grounded, shield for differential signal B normally grounded. If you want to stop any signal or just have to connect the 2 devices, that is host and the slave devices, without transferring the data, you can shield them. Okay, you can shield them by using these connectors, but usually they are grounded. We don't use them for the 9 pin 9 pin connector. So this is this table illustrates how the 4 and 6 and 9 pin connectors are used for connecting the host device and the slave devices, and what are the function of each of the pin. So this is what is IEEE 13994. There are 2 differential data transfer lines, as I said earlier, A and B per connector. Per connector, there are 2 differential data transfer lines, A and B. In 1394 cable, normally the differential lines of A are connected to B and vice versa. Okay, so how they are connected is, now if you have to connect 2 devices, A is connected to the B of the other device, and similarly from A of the other device is connected to the B of the host device. So this is how it is connected. The way we had connected UART, right? Transmitter connected to receiver of the other one, similarly vice versa. So 1394 is a popular communication interface for connecting the embedded devices like the digital camera, camcorders, scanners to desktop computers for data transfer and the storage. So usually digital camera and the cam recorder, they have this type of connector. IEEE 1394 doesn't require host for communication between the devices. For example, you can directly connect a scanner with the printer for printing. Fine, it doesn't require any host. Fine, the data rate supported by that is far higher than one supported by the USB 2.0 interface. So 1394 hardware implementation is much costlier than USB implementation. Whatever the hardware requirements for the USB is much smaller than the hardware requirement for the IEEE standards. Fine, so because it is works in real time, obviously it requires more number of driver implementation, hardware implementation. Next, let us go for infrared infrared communication interface. So infrared, which is in short it is called IRDA, is a serial half duplex line of sight based wire technology for data communication between the devices. So how this works? It is in use from the olden days older days of communication, and you may be very similar with it. Remote control, you have a remote control, right? So that works on the IRDA concept. So infrared communication technique uses the infrared waves of the electromagnetic spectrum for transmitting the data. It supports the point-to-point or point-to-multipoint communication, provided all the devices are involved in the communication are within the line of sight. Fine. So the typical communication range for IRDA lies in the range of 10 centimeter to 1 meter only. So the range can be increased by increasing the transmitting power of the IR device. Okay, so IR supports the data rates ranging from 9600 bits per second to 16 megabits per second. Fine. Depending on the speed of transmission of IR is classified into serial IR, medium IR, fast IR, very fast IR and ultra fast IR. So depending on the application, if you want to have a longer range, so you can have different types of IR systems here. So it is serial IR, medium IR and fast IR and very fast IR and ultra fast IR. So these are the communication involves a transmitter unit for transmitting the data over the IR and receiver for receiving the data. So light emitting diode is a source IR source for transmitting, and at the receiving end there will be a photodiode. So there will be a photodiode to receive the signal, and to transmit the signal there will be an LED. So both transmitter and receiver unit will be present in each device. In each device there will be both transmitter and receiver. Such IR unit are known as transceiver. Okay, they transmit as well as receive. So such type of signals we call it as transceiver. Certain devices like TV remote control always require an unidirectional communication. So they contain either the transmitter or the receiver. Okay, then the remote control unit contains a transmitter unit, and TV contains the receiver unit. Some of the IR devices which have this concept will contain both transmitter and the receiver, and some of them will contain only the transmitter and the receiver. For example, the TV remote what you use every day, it is having only the transmitter. At the end, the TV unit has only the receiver unit, and the device which contains both transmitter and receiver is called as transceiver. So it's a very simple. Okay, transmitter has the LED and the receiver has the photodiode to receive it. So there is a regulatory body responsible for defining and licensing the specification of IR data communication. IR communication has two essential parts. One is the physical link and a protocol part. The physical link works on the wireless principle, making use of infrared for communication, and the IRDA specification include the standard for both physical link and protocol layer. So IRDA control protocol contains the implementation for physical layer, media access control, that is MAC, and logic link control. So it is a popular interface for file exchange, data transfer in low cost devices, and it is the prominent communication channel in mobile phones before the Bluetooth existence. Okay, before there was a Bluetooth, this was the popular and prominent communication channel in the mobile phones. Okay, so let us stop here. In the next class, sir will continue with the Bluetooth. Thank you.